Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which means it's time for another one of our weekly viewers specials. If you are new to the channel or this series, first of all, welcome, glad to have you here. And second of all, let me give you a little bit of a breakdown of what we do here. So every Monday, we showcase replays from you all, the viewers. A great way to not only take a look at some decks or builds I might not have time to explore myself, but also cheer each other on as a community, all in good fun. So, if you are interested in submitting for the viewer special, you're going to want to check out the description below. One of the links there is an invite link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex. Once you're there, you can drop your 9-digit player ID under the viewer special submissions channel, and then I can see your publicly saved replays. If there's one in particular that you really want me to see, make sure that you're leaving your opponent's name, the date and time, a screenshot, something where I know that's the one you want me to watch. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right on into some of your games. Okay, so our first replay comes to us from Ekudo, who's got a pile deck that I'm pretty interested in checking out. I think we're going to try this game here up against Hero, but looks like we are going to be on Centurion and Goblin Biker, but also with the Virtual World archetype, which I really wanted to watch this because I don't think I've seen Virtual World around pretty much since the beginning of Master Duel. Really, it was when the Rank 9 True King of All Calamities, VFD, the Very Fun Dragon, once that got banned, this deck seemed to fall off really fast. But back in the first few months of Master Duel, Virtual World was considered one of the better decks in the format. Tier 1 or at the very least upper Tier 2. So yeah, like I said, I'm really just eager to see this deck after so long in action here. The Kowloon, the Field Spell, it's just so wild thinking back to how often you would see this card only for it to seemingly vanish overnight. But as mentioned, I am very eager to check out this Virtual World deck, and as mentioned, our opponent here looks like they are going to be on a hero deck. So let's go ahead and see how this combo line plays out. It definitely makes sense to pair with Goblin Biker and Centurion for sure. Virtual World not only being synchro focused, but also having a lot of level 3 monsters. Okay, we're taking the first turn. We have a bunch of Virtual World cards as well as the Doug Charger in our opening hand. It looks pretty good. We're going to lead with the Kowloon. That's going to place the Virtual World Gate Chuchi. We can then dump the Kinglong, which can then add and then send a card from hand to graveyard. We're going to send the Doug Charger after we summon. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen these. This is Gigi, right? Yep. Now, this is kind of one of your main combo pieces for the Virtual World line, and that's going to be Lulu. Now we can dump a trap card in order to summon and then add a spell. We're going to overlay our 2 level 3s here. And that's going to get us Xyz Armor Torpedo. I didn't think about that, but yeah, the Xyz Armor line does, of course, fit naturally into the Virtual World strategy. Here's the Lao Lao. Fun fact, Virtual World Roshi Lao Lao was actually semi-limited at one point. Was definitely one of Master Duel's weirder hits, in my opinion. Okay, here's the Xyz Armor Fortress. Like, even at the time, I remember thinking it was a really weird semi-limit, because it was a card that was often played at 2 anyway, from what I remember. Okay, we're going to Synchro for 6. It's going to make Stardust Charge Warrior, which is going to let us get another card draw. And then Yan Yan lets us shuffle back one of our Virtual World trap cards here. Drawing into Centurion Trudea. Have we used our normal summon? We've not. I didn't think so. Okay. Here's Auxilia, that's going to grab the stand-up Centurion. What did we use to make that? Was that 6+6? Yeah, that was Lao Lao plus Stardust Charge Warrior. Okay, that makes sense. And then here's the Trudea. Now we can start doing Centurion stuff. Yeah, I didn't think about that aspect either, but the Virtual World deck being able to tune 6+6 pretty easily is another way for you to pivot between your engines here. So Virtual World can pretty easily access both Goblin Biker stuff as well as Centurion stuff natively. That's really interesting. It's just funny too, because Centurion doesn't have any level 3 monsters, so you wouldn't think that it and Goblin Biker have any synergy, but people said that about Sprite Synchro as well. I love these kind of pile decks where you're bridging archetypes in a way that is really unexpected. I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, here's the full armored Dark Knight Lancer. And looks like that's going to be it for our turn here. We've got our Cosmic Blazar Dragon, as well as the Centurion line set up along with our full Armored Xyz here. Okay, looks like they're going to lead with a Hero Lives for Stratos. Stratos effect to search. We're going to activate Trudea at this point, as well as the Primera. And then we're also going to use the Chuchi as well, which I'm trying to remember, does this negate or destroy or shuffle back? Hang on. Target face a card in the field, shuffle back two of your banished virtual world names with different names, virtual world cards with different names from each other, then destroy that card. Okay. So we're popping the Stratos, Primera and Trudea get to summon. And they're going to grab Vision Hero Ferris. Now Stand-Up Centurion is going to let us synchro for 12. And it looks like it's going to be Crimson Dragon yet again. So we're going to make, looks like another big dragon synchro monster here. Ah, it's the Red Supernova Dragon, of course. Okay, here's Vision Hero Ferris pitching Malicious. And looks like we're going to respond with the full Armored Xyz. This, of course, lets us equip to the Lancer, which then, since it was equipped, we can now attach a monster as a material. I don't think this targets, though, right? Yeah, it does not target, so even though our opponent tried to dodge with the Vision Hero increase, we were able to just absorb that instead. Okay, there's a Masked Hero Furnace. Malicious getting to activate now. What do they add? Polymerization, okay. We're going to use Cosmic Blazar on the Mally. So now there's no copies left in the graveyard. They can't extend with that. And it looks like that's all our opponent had, and they're going to concede at this point. That was awesome. That was really, really cool to see Virtual World. Again, an archetype which has not seen the light of day for years at this point, bridging into both Goblin Biker stuff and Centurion off the same combo line. That was really awesome. Thank you very much for that, Ekudo. Let's go and take a look at our next replay. Alrighty, this next replay comes to us from Draco. So Draco is going to be on Speedroid, and there's a lot of pretty quality replays here. I think we're going to be checking out this one, which I believe should be against Cool Tune, but Speedroid has actually received a bit of support recently in the form of Sheena, Twin Tempest of Celestial Thunder. It's really easy to think of this as a Radiant Typhoon card, but it's also really important to remember that this supports any wind deck, as all you have to do to use it is control a wind monster. And Speedroid is an archetype chock full of wind monsters, making it a very natural fit. So I thought that was a pretty cool example of how, Sheena is helping more than just Radiant Typhoon. And for our opponent, it looks like they are going to be on Cool Tune. The Fairy variant, I've kind of heard of this one, where you focus more on Red Nova with Orange Herald, and then sometimes Diviner of the Heralds as well. Of course, with Orange Herald going to 1, I don't know how feasible that variant will be in the future, but it's definitely an interesting idea. Okay, so we're going second here, meaning we're going to have to play through probably some amount of a board. Let's see what our opponent does. We've got Fuelos, which is really nice. Okay, they're going to lead with Cool Tune Synchro. We're chaining Fuelos right off the bat. And let's see what our opponent ends up doing about that. Okay, they're going to add Cool Tune Q. And they're just going for it. They're going to normal summon Cool Tune Q. They're going to special summon Clip, though, rather than Rotary. And then they're going to make Crackle. Wow, they really value that extra deck rip, don't they? Okay, here's the Q and the Clip effects getting to activate here. Clip's gonna banish, let's see, which one was that? Hagoita. Okay, the level 5 that changes levels of monsters. Got it. And then, revealing from the top of our deck, Speed Recovery, which is kind of like a Monster Reborn, and Speedroid Clear Wing Wonder, which looks like a board wiping card. And can also banish... I see, it bounces cards that are special summoned. Okay. Okay, so they're going to banish Speed Recovery and then put our trap card at the bottom of the deck. They're going to use Triple Tactics Talent to draw 2 cards and then pass, okay? Let's see what they've got. We're going to start with Terratop, and they're going to fire off Ash Blossom right away. We've got the Speedroid Rubber Band Plane, which can be special summoned because a monster is special summoned to our field. We are locked into wind, but I think a lot of Speedroid cards do that, or a decent amount at least. We're going to level adjust, and they're going for the Ghost Bell in response in order to destroy our Red-Eyed Dice, our tuner monster. Thankfully, though, we've got the Monster Reborn here, so we could just use that in order to get our tuner monster right back. We're lowering the rubber band plane down to 2. And then we can actually use the effect to level adjust again. That's really cool because it's not once per, it's a soft once per turn. Okay, here's the level 3 high Speedroid Cork Shooter. It's going to get hit with an effect Veiler though. So unfortunately, we're not able to search a Speedroid spell or trap card. Or revive our materials. Wow, that would have been really good. But here's the Rubber Band Shooter, the Link 2. Now we can banish Clearwing Synchro Dragon. We're going to add the Marble Machine and dump the Wing Synchron. Marble Machine F gets to add the Colonel Clacker. Colonel effect gets to place in the pen scale, and then we're going to go for Car Turbo, and then tune the 2 of these into High Speedroid Chanbara. It's the one that can attack twice. Yep. Ghost Warner is going to come down against the Chanbara here. We're going to use Colonel Clacker's effect to banish and then place another Pentascale. Then we can pop our Pentascales in order to Synchro Summon for the Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. Now, Colonel Clacker's and Wing Synchron's effects both get to activate here. And they're not even going to wait for us to finish our combo line. They're going to immediately concede. Wow, so we did push through a fair bit there in order to start establishing our board. Yeah, the Ghost Mourner, they had the Ghost Ogre, the Effect Veiler, tons of different hand traps, and yet Speedroid was able to persevere, which is really cool to see. Thank you very much for that, Draco. We have time for one more. Let's finish off with that last replay. And our last replay comes to us from Lelouch, who also goes by Hex over on the Discord server. Always nice to meet a fellow Hex. We are going to be taking a look at a dual triangle game, and we are going to be on Radiant Typhoon Sky Striker. I wanted to check this replay out because I've actually kind of considering been playing a similar deck, leaning a little bit more into Sky Striker than the Radiant Typhoon, but either way, I'm definitely in a mode where I really like Sky Striker in the current meta for its good matchup against Cool Tune, so I figured this would be a good replay for us to watch. Of course, again, keep in mind that this is the dual triangle event, which is why some of the extra decks and such might look a little bit weird and no called by and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to check this out for sure. We are going second, of course, being on Sky Striker, we are selecting to go second. And we got a really, really solid hand here to go second with. They're going to lead with Cool Tune Mix, normal summoning, and then adding the Rotary. Next up is Cool Tune Synchro from the opponent's going to add Recco. Now, Rotary is going to activate, revealing itself and Recco. I imagine they're going to extra normal summon the Recco. Yep, there it is. Recco effect gets to activate. They're going to add Clip. And now it looks like they're going to tune Recco with the Rotary in order to make the Track Maker. This will, of course, give them a couple of searches, as well as getting to take a peek at our hand. Although, to be fair, one of the reasons that Sky Striker has a good Cool Tune matchup is, you know, when Cool Tune is looking at a hand like this, there's actually not a ton of information they can glean from it, right? I mean, yeah, they know we have the Lightning Storm and the Widow Anchor to clean up their board, but, like, they don't know what we're going to search or draw off Engage, they don't know what we're going to draw off Vision, and they don't know what mode we're going to go for on Triple Attack, or if we draw cards, what we're going to get off that. And that kind of information, or lack thereof, is actually, again, one of the reasons why I think Sky Striker's got a good Cool Tune matchup. If you're the Cool Tune player, and you're just looking at a handful of Engages and Pot of Desires and Upstarts, like, what are you supposed to do with that information? Not a lot. Not a lot. Alright, now they're going to use Q, banishing Ray, and then putting Dark Hole on the bottom of the deck. We're going to draw for turn, draw phase, Vision. Lets us draw 2, and then we're going to discard the Eldum. We got Ray and Jamming Waves off of that. We're going to lead with the Engage. Our opponent's going to use the Ash Blossom here. So our Engage does get negated. But now we can go Jamming Waves, pop the face down. They're going to chain it. It's Cool Tune Synchro. We kind of knew that was going to happen. But at the same time, it's definitely good to clear out all of our opponent's disruption now before it becomes a problem later. Like this, I love that we're basically forcing them to make remix here with the Cool Tune Synchro effect. This is ideal. You want Cool Tune to be wasting as many of their opportunities to Synchro Summon on your turn as possible. And I say wasting because, you know, Rekko/Mix didn't get to pop any monsters or spell trap cards. Here's another really good example of making them use the remix here. Which again is denying them the ability to use like Rekko or Mix to pop some of our cards. But it's kind of hard to do that against Sky Striker a lot of the time, which is yet another reason why this tends to be a little bit of a tough matchup for Cool Tune. Looks like they're going to make the back-to-back using Zaylin, and then Clip plus Rekko is how they're going to make RS. Alright, so triple tack ends up resolving there. They're going to go for Clip and Q effect, revealing Vision and Linkage. They're going to banish the Linkage, leave Vision on top, eating a Kagari from the extra deck. We're going to throw down Lightning Storm that'll force them to use the RS effect. And we're simply going to respond with the Widow Anchor. So now our opponent is officially just out of stuff to do. And we still have the Ray. They're going to go Effect Veiler on the Ray, but that's pretty pointless for a couple of reasons, actually. We could have not only just chained Ray's effect, but we also could have just, Link summoned. So they are going to throw out their last card as well, which is Fulo. So we're going to link away the Ray into Kagari. They get to draw, but we get to activate the Kagari effect in order to add back Engage. And now we can activate the Engage in order to both search and draw. We're going to grab Linkage here. And then we're going to find a Mystical Space type field. And I think this is lethal, right? Kagari swings for 2100. Linkage tributes for the Ace 0. Now that swings in for 3k thanks to the Linkage buff. And then now Ace 0, yep, they're at 2900. Summons out Ray and Rose, which, swing in for lethal here. Good stuff. Yeah. I am really eager to try out more Sky Striker, and I think this duel was a pretty good example of why I think it could be quite strong in this meta. Thank you very much for that, Lelouch, aka Hex, as well as everybody else who submitted. Even if you weren't featured in any of today's replays, just know that there's always the next week. We do this every Monday, as mentioned, and the week after that, and so on and so forth. And even if you don't get featured, submitting is still really important, because if nobody submitted, we wouldn't be able to do this series. So I do also go through and watch most, if not all, of the replays that get submitted. So yeah, I really want to thank everybody, again, not just who got featured in today's video, but who submitted replays. Really appreciate all of you. But that's going to go ahead and do it for now. Before we sign out, though, let's move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which, by the way, is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.